Hi everyone. So in this video, we are going to see the polyfills for call and apply in JavaScript. So call and apply basically allow a function to run in a context of another object. So we'll see how the native call and apply work, and then we will implement our own call and apply using two ways as usual. So in my other polyfill videos as well, we have come up with a solution in using two ways. First is by overriding the array.prototype or the function.prototype, and another one is by building our own custom function from scratch. So we'll see both the ways. Okay, so let me quickly start with this. I'll say let obj1 is equal to name. This will have my name and this will have an age. Let's say 15. I'll say let object2. Also inside this I will have a function called print name, right? That will basically console.log my name is this dot name, right? And if I quickly run this function now using the object2, because we have this function inside object2, as you can see, I will just run it. So on my right side you can see the terminal and you can see the output. My name is Rohan. So what if I want to run this function in context of this object? For now we are accessing this print name function using the object2 because it resides inside this object2, and we are able to get Rohan due to this dot name, because this keyword is currently referring to this object context. What if I change the context for this keyword? So if I say dot call and I pass another object to it, object 1. Now what we have done is we have changed the context for this function. Let's see what is the output. You see my name is Bhavuk. So this is how call works, and we will now see how to implement this from scratch. Alright, so using our first way, we will write function.prototype.myCall. Right, this will be a function that will take another object and some arguments. Now inside this, first we want to check if we are really getting a function and an object. So I will write if type of object that we are getting is not equal to an object, or the type of this is not equal to a function, right? Because we are using this function.prototype, so we are getting the function using this, so we are checking for it. If this is the case, I will throw a new error or anything that you want to print, okay. And now once we are out of this, so we will say object, that whatever object we are getting, I will inject a property inside it called func or a function, and I will assign the function to it. On whatever function we are using call or apply, that function I will assign to this property that I am injecting in this object that I'm getting as a parameter. And I will simply call this object.func with some arguments that I'm getting, right? So there is one more step, that is we need to delete this func that we have injected, and I will show you why we need to do that. But first let us run my call. So I will save it, and as you can see we have already created some objects, and instead of using call this time I will say object2 dot print name dot my call, right? So this is a custom polyfill that we have created, and I will pass the first object in it, and we will not use any arguments, so that is optional. If I run this, you can see I'm getting my name is Bhavuk, that is coming from this first object. Also, once we have completed the execution, if I now just console.log my first object, so you will see we have three properties inside it: name, age, and a function. But in our original object, there is no function. We have just used it so that we can create a context for this print name, right? We do not want this function print name to be permanently present in this, because this might cause some issues later on. So for that, we also need to keep in mind that we need to delete this temporary function, and how we can do it is using the delete operator. So I will say delete obj.func. If you see, I'm getting my name is Bhavuk correctly, and also in my first object we have only two properties as like we are seeing here, and there is no third property that is being injected unnecessarily. So that is how we can create a polyfill for call. Now let's see how we can do this using a custom function. For that I will say function custom call, right? This will take a function and an object and some arguments. Inside this I'm going to do the same thing. So first I will check if like object or function not correct. Otherwise what I'll do, I'll say obj dot func is equal to function that I'm getting, and I will call this function obj.func with the arguments, and I will say delete obj.func as well. Right now, how we can use this custom call is, here I will say custom call. I will pass in the function that I'm getting from this thing, and I will pass in the context that I want it to run in, and there would be no arguments that I want. So let's see. I will clear this node call.js, and see, we are getting my name is Bhavuk, and there are only two properties in the first object. So if let's say I give the same object to it, object 2 from where it belongs. So you see my name is Rohan, and in the first object obviously there is nothing to be checked. So I will say object 2, and object 2 has correctly 3 properties, and my name is Rohan is getting printed. Let's say while calling this custom call I want to pass some arguments. So let's say I want to, right, so this is an additional argument that I'm passing, and we are also receiving it here. So there can be like multiple arguments that I can pass, so those will be comma separated obviously. So I will say India, I will say let's say Diwali, anything, and when we are receiving it here and we are calling this with args, so in this function we are expecting two arguments. One is the country and another is the festival, and apart from name, country and festival, we are using the same object 2. See, my name is Rohan, India, Diwali, and if I change the context, so you see my name is Bhavuk, India, Diwali, that we are able to like pass these arguments individually. Okay, so I hope you got it. And now coming to apply, so apply and call are almost similar, just the difference is how we pass these arguments to it. So let's see. First I will modify this custom call only to be custom apply, and instead of spreading these arguments I will receive the whole array of arguments. So apply, instead of taking arguments individually like comma separated arguments, it takes a whole array in which we can pass multiple arguments. Instead of passing this individually, what I'll say, I will create an array and pass it like this, and I will say custom apply with the context of object 1, and I think this is it. Now I will run this. So you can see this is the statement that we are running. So my name is Bhavuk, that is coming from this first object reference, and India and Diwali we are able to pass in as like arrays. So this was the custom apply function. If we convert this to the normal function.prototype, then how would it look like? Let's see. So as you can see, I have overridden the function.prototype and I have said my apply, which is a function that is taking an object, right, which will be the context for the function that we are executing, and we are taking an arg. So instead of writing like this, so instead of taking individual arguments, we are taking an array of arguments here. So if I show you quickly like this, so we are passing an array inside which there are comma separated arguments that we are taking here as it is. Inside that, again the same check. Then we are assigning the function that we have received using this to this property, and we are calling this function using the arguments. So here we have received the array, but while calling the function, we are spreading these arguments. And we have deleted this property afterwards. So we have again two objects, object 1, object 2, and this has a print name function inside which I am getting two arguments. So I'm expecting two arguments to come inside this. So when I'm calling this print name dot my apply, I'm passing in the context of the object. So this is the object, and I'm passing the array of arguments. So this will go inside this. This will spread it. So India and Diwali will get spreaded. So country will take India and festival will take Diwali, and likewise they will be printed. So let's see. If I call it, you can see we are getting my name is Bhavuk, India and Diwali. If I change the context to be object 2 itself, and if I now run this, so India and Diwali, instead of like a string, there can be anything, like we have receiving a parameter. So this can be anything, doesn't matter. You see India and 10 we are getting. So this is the only difference. And again, if we are using call, we would just pass it like this instead of an array. We would pass it like this, and here I will just spread this, and I will say my call. Here I will say my call, and we are done. So that was the minute difference between both. So if I now call this, you can see we are getting my name is Rohan and India, and with the first object we are getting my name is Bhavuk, India and 10. Right, so I hope you enjoyed watching this and you learned how to create polyfills for call and apply. Thanks a lot for watching.